Imagine being so famous that every move you make is dissected, compared, and lined up against someone else's life. Imagine waking up one morning to discover that people online are matching your words, your tattoos, your fashion collaborations, even the way you decorate your office to someone else's choices, and calling you a copycat. That's the bizarre and never-ending saga between Hailey Bieber and Selena Gomez. And it's the kind of feud that feels more like a psychological thriller than just another celebrity rivalry. It isn't a simple case of fans reading too much into coincidences. Over time, the timeline has grown so detailed and so loaded with side-by-side proof that even the most skeptical observers find themselves wondering, is this mimicry, obsession, or just the strangest streak of coincidences pop culture has ever seen? It all seemed to reignite with a single speech. Hailey Bieber stood on stage at the Daily Front Row Fashion Awards, clutching her trophy, bathed in spotlights, and thanked the world as she accepted an award for her Rhode skincare brand. At first glance, it looked like a fairly standard acceptance speech. She said she hadn't launched her brand for the sake of launching a brand, but instead wanted to create an entire world. But as the clip began circulating online, fans began to whisper, then shout. Because those exact words, or at least words that sounded almost identical, had already been spoken by Selena Gomez years earlier, during a 2021 interview while she was promoting Rare Beauty. Selena had explained that she didn't want to start a makeup brand just for the sake of it either, and that her mission was to cultivate something meaningful and lasting. When the two speeches were played back to back, the similarity was striking. The rhythm, the phrasing, the heart-on-sleeve delivery, it all lined up so closely that TikTok erupted in disbelief. Was Hailey copying Selena's words? Or was it just a common way beauty founders talk about their brands? The video comparison spread like wildfire, sparking millions of views and thousands of comments. One camp immediately labeled Hailey a creepy stalker, convinced the overlap couldn't be coincidental. Another camp defended her, pointing out that corporate speeches often sound the same and that lots of brand founders rely on stock phrases written by PR teams. But for Selena's fans, the damage was already done. The speech wasn't just a slip, it was one more piece in a much longer puzzle. To them, it was proof of a pattern that had been playing out for years. And that pattern wasn't just words. Back in 2015, Selena Gomez had made a deeply personal choice to ink a tiny lowercase g behind her ear, a tribute to her younger sister Gracie. It was delicate, small, and meaningful. Not long afterward, photos surfaced of Hailey Bieber with the exact same tattoo, a lowercase g in the same spot, behind the ear. Fans gasped. To them, it wasn't subtle, it wasn't inspiration, it was mimicry of something sacred. The tattoo discourse spread across forums with accusations that Hailey had deliberately marked herself in Selena's shadow. Defenders argued that Hailey's tattoo might have meant something entirely different, perhaps a nod to her faith or another personal story she hadn't shared publicly. But once again, the side-by-side images fueled the narrative. Even the smallest details felt like chapters in a copycat chronicle. From tattoos, the conversation shifted to kitchens. Selena launched her cooking show, Selena Plus Chef, in 2020. It was a refreshing spin on celebrity television. Unscripted, warm, filmed in her actual home kitchen. She invited chefs and family members, including her grandmother, and fans loved the authenticity. Fast forward, and Hailey announced her YouTube cooking segment, What's in My Kitchen? The format? Filmed in her actual home kitchen, casual and relaxed, even featuring her grandmother in the mix. Fans rolled their eyes. How could the parallels be ignored? Both shows had the same cozy family vibe, the same real girl cooking energy, even the same generational dynamic. To Hailey's critics, this wasn't coincidence. It was imitation, almost like she was running a checklist of Selena's public ventures and recreating them under her own name. It didn't stop with kitchens. Rare Beauty, Selena's makeup line launched in 2020, was introduced with pastel packaging, soft imagery, and promotional photos filled with warm lighting and natural tones. The office spaces shown in behind-the-scenes footage had a comforting, almost dreamlike vibe. In 2022, Hailey launched Rhode, and when campaign shots emerged, the comparisons came fast. Fans pointed to the similar warm lighting, the cozy aesthetic, the dreamy clean beauty messaging. Even the office layouts with their soft colors and serene spaces looked familiar. Supporters countered that beauty brands often share the same aesthetic trends. It's minimalism, pastel-led branding, something almost every skincare or makeup line uses these days. But in the court of internet opinion, that argument rarely wins. Once fans smell blood, every overlap becomes proof of a grander scheme. Then came fashion. Selena Gomez teamed up with Puma in 2019, leaning into sporty yet chic apparel that balanced athleticism with pop star glamour. Shortly after, Hailey began her own sporty brand collabs, including with Fila. Different brands, yes, but the styling, the sporty casual vibe, the streetwear crossover with feminine softness, looked to many like an echo of Selena's earlier fashion footprint. To critics, the parallels weren't limited to clothing racks. They spread into vacations, events, and social posts. Fans dug up old Instagram captions where Selena had used a phrase that years later appeared in one of Hailey's captions. Side-by-side screenshots filled TikTok, with people swiping through nearly identical outfits, trips to the same places, even hairstyles. One infamous breakdown came during the so-called eyebrow saga. Selena had joked on TikTok about over-laminating her brows, and just hours later, Hailey posted a selfie showing off her brows, with what fans interpreted as a sly jab. To make matters worse, Kylie Jenner jumped in with eyebrow-focused Instagram stories tagged with Hailey, and suddenly the internet was ablaze. It was gasoline on an already raging fire. At this point, the narrative wasn't just about coincidences, it was about identity. The 7-part TikTok series accusing Hailey of a decade-long obsession with Selena gained millions of views. Fans claimed Hailey had once been active in Bieber and Gomez fan communities before dating Justin, liking posts, leaving comments, even sending DMs to fan account owners. Some swore she showed up at events Selena attended, strategically positioning herself in the background of paparazzi shots. Others claimed Justin's timeline of breaking up with Selena and being seen with Hailey lined up so perfectly that it felt like more than coincidence. Whether or not these claims could be verified, the sheer volume of fan-made evidence created a persuasive narrative. For many, the coincidences became too many to ignore. Hailey didn't stay silent. She decided to fight fire with fire, leaning into the obsession with humor and sarcasm. In Vogue's What's in My Bag video, she dramatically pulled out multiple iPhones, joking that they were for anonymous browsing and burner accounts. Then she revealed a bottle she described as a witch's potion to make a young Canadian pop star fall in love with her. It was cheeky, theatrical, and dripping with irony. Some saw it as a clever clapback, proof that she was aware of the chatter and unafraid to mock it. Others saw it as confirmation that she knew exactly what people were saying and was play-acting the part of the villain. On Reddit, the jokes turned cruel. "Imagine marrying your stalker," one user wrote, painting Hailey as someone who had spent years watching from the sidelines, only to step into Selena's life. The memes became darker, the conspiracy boards more detailed, and the rivalry narrative more entrenched. The fallout was real. Reports emerged that Hailey lost nearly 1 million Instagram followers in the span of a week after one of the controversies flared up. Her Rhode account faced waves of review bombing, with people leaving negative comments unrelated to the products themselves. Every time she posted on Instagram, her comment sections filled with references to Selena. And yet, paradoxically, Hailey still landed her first solo Vogue cover. Despite the negative press, she was still a fashion icon, still a brand name that editors wanted to feature. That paradox sits at the heart of the whole saga. The drama hurts her image in some ways, but in other ways it keeps her relevant and in demand. Selena, meanwhile, has mostly leaned into kindness. She continues to promote rare beauty with her soft-spoken authenticity, hosts Selena plus Chef with family warmth, and urges fans to be kind whenever the feud spills too far. This stance only strengthens her image as the gracious, authentic one. For every clapback Hailey attempts, Selena doubles down on compassion, which makes the contrast even sharper. The internet loves to paint binaries, and in this story, one side becomes the sweetheart while the other becomes the mean girl, regardless of nuance. But if you peel back the drama, you realize both women benefit from it in strange ways. Every viral thread about Hailey drives attention to Rhode. Every wave of sympathy for Selena boosts rare beauty sales. This feud, whether intentional or accidental, keeps them both at the center of cultural conversation. That doesn't mean it's easy. For Selena, it's a reminder that her identity and choices are constantly mirrored, turned into fodder for fan wars. For Hailey, it's the uphill battle of proving that she's not living in someone else's shadow, that she can be her own person and brand leader without being accused of mimicry at every turn. Some PR insiders whisper that Hailey may one day do a dramatic rebrand, shift Rhode into a visual and aesthetic direction so far removed from rare beauty that no one can compare them anymore. Others think she'll keep leaning into the drama because controversy sells. The truth is, no one knows. But what's certain is that every time Hailey posts a new photo, every time Selena steps out in a new outfit, fans are waiting with side-by-side screenshots, ready to reignite the conversation. The digital magnifying glass never goes away. The rivalry isn't just celebrity gossip, it's interactive fan culture with millions of people invested like it's the final season of a binge-worthy show. And that's what makes this saga so enduring. It isn't built on one or two coincidences, it's built on years of overlaps, side-by-side proof, and timelines that feel too precise to ignore. From tattoos to speeches, cooking shows to beauty branding, it's a story of two women forever linked in the public eye, whether they want to be or not. Maybe it's obsession, maybe it's coincidence, or maybe it's just the internet weaving a narrative too juicy to let go of. But one thing is certain. In this story, nothing happens quietly, and every new coincidence will explode across your feed in minutes. The only question left is which side of the story you believe, and whether the next chapter will be another echo of the past or a break into something entirely new.